Hi everyone, and welcome back to my latest video. Today I'm in Greenock at Inverclyde Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Today we are meeting the man who does this.
And this could be finished if he lands a few more of these unanswered. This is not intelligent defence, and I think this is going to be over, and there it is. And there it is, you heard the referee.
And this.
Beautiful job of just reversing McEwan. McEwan dropping in here for a guillotine, looks tight, he's confident. That looks really tight, Brad.
Looking for the big squeeze here. It was Reece McEwan.
It is MMA bantamweight fighter Reece McEwan. Reece has had an amazing amateur career with 8 wins and 1 loss before signing with Cage Warriors and turning pro. Since turning pro, he's had 7 wins and 2 losses. He just missed out on becoming Cage Warriors champion in his last fight with a tremendous fight against Liam Gittins. Reece will be determined to turn that disappointment into motivation for his next fight in front of a home crowd in April at Braehead. So let's go and meet Reece, show me a few moves and hopefully get to know him a bit better. So, welcome to the show, Reece. Thanks so much for coming on. We both know how busy you are, so it's really appreciated that you come on today.
Thank you very much for having me, it's my absolute pleasure.
Well, Reece, what in the world made you get into a career where you get kicked and punched in the face every day?
It's funny, you get asked that quite a lot, and I always feel like the goal is to not get kicked and punched in the face every day.
Yeah.
But what it was is I watched it on TV. I watched the UFC on TV. I used to stay up late during the night when I was young, and I seen the UFC on TV, and I seen that there was weight classes, and I thought that's maybe a sport that I could be good at. No idea why. And I said when I leave school I'm going to build some muscle and join a martial arts gym, and here we are.
Were you skinny as me when you were in school?
Honestly, when I was 16, you're not skinny at all. Not skinny at all. When I was 16, I couldn't tense up my left arm. I had no muscles, honestly. Like, I wasn't athletic in the slightest. I could maybe run a wee bit, but yeah. So Anna was the smallest in the year, so small, and I had no strength whatsoever.
Well, I heard that you got a wee bit of hassle at camping trip when you were up Kilmacombe. Can you tell us that story? Do you feel like that made you want to get into the UFC?
Yeah, so like I said, when I was going to my 6th year in school, as I said, so at the time I was 15, I always remember 5'2", couldn't tense up my left arm, and at the time I did watch MMA. I was a UFC fan, and in general, even today, I don't like confrontation. I don't like arguing.
Yeah.
Unless it's to do with my career or sport, like I would avoid confrontation at all costs.
Like if somebody came up to you in the streets just when I want to pick a fight with you because you're a UFC fighter, you just avoid it basically?
I would just avoid it as much as I could. I would just tell them to stop being silly, and they really don't want to do that. Like I think prevention is the best form of self-defence, but if that's the way I feel now as an adult and as a trained fighter, I guess, that emotion and that feeling is only heightened as a 15-year-old teenager who can't fight.
Yeah.
So I just said, as you mentioned, I had a wee bit of bother at a camping trip in Kilmacombe. The whole year group went to go camping up Kilmacombe one night, and these kind of let's say Nez just came and picked on me, asked me why I was staring at them, picked on me. One was like 6 foot odd, the other one was 5'8", and at the time when you're 15, 5'1", 5'2", can't tense up your left arm, these seem like giants. And I was absolutely terrified, and I couldn't even speak to say like, to put my own case and defend myself. My friends had to jump in, save me, and I always said that at that moment, the thought of being an MMA fighter or pursuing MMA as, let's say, a career or a sport, I would say that became like a reality. Like, I will do this, and I will never let myself get in that position again. So on the standing leg, go on your toes, okay? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Good. So here, 1, 2. Good, that's it, as if you kick football. So what we'll do is we'll do wee lengths here. So look, 1, back, 2, march, good. That's it, that's good, Keep your hands nice and tight, I'll do it with you. Good, on the way back. 1, 2, hips forward.
Deciding to become a pro MMA fighter, how did the family take it?
So at the time when I said I was going to train martial arts, like I was almost, I think the term now that they use is like you've got imposter syndrome, like I was almost embarrassed to say to my family, even when I had my first fight. I basically never told them. A lot of them obviously told my mum and my sisters because we were in the same house, but when I would tell people that I was doing mixed martial arts, I almost felt like I didn't, for whatever reason, I had no credibility to say that.
Yeah.
To the point where I would have hand wraps hanging out my window to dry them, and then my aunt would be like, "What's that hanging out your window?" I'd be like, "Nothing." I was just so embarrassed for some strange reason, and then I would say that feeling got validated when I got a victory, and I could actually be confident enough to say I'm doing mixed martial arts. And after a successful amateur career, I turned professional, and after my second amateur fight, I quit my job. I graduated from university, and so I'm going to make a career out of this.
Quitting your job's a really big risk. Was there any other things that you had to get financially, leaving your job?
To be honest, I did not do it the way I done it. I would never advise anyone to do that. I was 22. And the only financial thing that I was committed to was paying the finance of my car, the insurance and petrol to the gym. Luckily, at the time I had great coaches that made it possible for me to train at the gym for free by doing tasks at the gym and taking classes or cleaning the gym, so that cut some costs. But at the time, and I had no savings. I quit my job on 4 weeks' notice, so I had no opportunity to save. I essentially had no safety blanket.
Yeah.
I had my mum that said, if you ever need a hand, then you know where to, like just ask me, I'll always be there for you. But there was a pride element in me that I didn't want to ask for help, and I always said, I had local people, like I had friends offer me jobs, but I said this is my plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, then I don't know, I don't want a plan B, so I'll never need to fall back on that. I would never advise anyone to do that, but I had the determination to know that I would make this work.
Doing my research and watching social media videos, you feel like a very mentally strong person. How did you deal with the loss of your championship fight?
I was definitely down. Anytime I've took a loss, I've definitely been quite emotional, like whether it be physical, emotional and crying, being upset, but for me, like, I think anytime you lose in competition or you lose in life, like life goes on, you still need to wake up the next morning, brush your teeth, wash your face, like every other human being. And for me, I just had to trust in that I'm very young in my career. I had to take lessons from the fight, which I was very proud of. I was proud of my performance, I was proud of the heart that I showed. I never got the result that I wanted on that night, but my life is not determined by what happens on that night. So you just need to move on to the next one and continue to be a better person. We'll go round kick, okay? So what we'll do here is turn. Yeah, that's it. On your toes. There we go. Go again. Good. Yeah, off both sides. So 1, back to stance. 2, good. Here. Yeah, keep going. 1, good. 2, good. Here. 3, and hands up. Final piece. Elbow. So fold an arm down. Yeah. Fold the other one down. Go up, up, down, up.
Cage Warriors, coming back to Scotland, you must be buzzing.
I'm absolutely over the moon at Cage Warriors coming back to Scotland. This is the first time that I've fought in Scotland since 2021, and when I did fight, it was in a equestrian centre that only held 300 people. Prior to that, it's been in sports halls or community centres, and now the fact that the Cage Warriors' biggest show in Europe is coming to the Braehead Arena, which is a huge show, and it's an absolute pleasure, privilege to be a part of. And as I said, as soon as I signed with Cage Warriors, I wanted them to come back to Scotland. And now that they're coming back, it's almost like another big goal of my career coming true.
Being so close to home, you would expect a great backing, but you get that everywhere you go. Do you feel like the huge following inspires and motivates you at your fights?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, like the support that I've had is very inspiring and very motivating, and I can confidently say that I've had that great support from very early on in my career. Even from my my second fight, I remember being one of the last amateurs on the card because of the tickets that I sold. So that tells me that I've got a lot of people that care for me as a human, and no matter what success, obviously the more successful you get or the bigger profile you get, you will get a bigger support. But luckily for me, I've had a great support since essentially I started this sport, and as you say, it's very inspiring, very motivating, and they seem to go all around the UK for me, and the fact that most everybody that comes are from Scotland and they won't need to travel far for this one.
That's great, Reese, isn't it?
Honestly, it's incredible. I'll tell you a funny story. Yesterday I was in JD Gym, and I had one of my t-shirts on, but I had like a hoodie over it. I thought when I get warm I'll take the jumper off and I'll wear like my t-shirt, and someone else had my t-shirt on, the same t-shirt. I thought, oh no, I look like I'm copying them, so I'll keep my jumper on. But the fact that everywhere I go, whether it's training or even in the shops or anywhere locally, I always come across someone that either comes up to me and says, I'm looking forward to your next fight, or that last fight was a cracker, or they're wearing a jumper, they're wearing a t-shirt, or they're wearing something, or they say hi, or even to a greater extent where maybe someone asks for a photo, or someone like yourself like want to get in touch with me, like genuinely means a lot, and I'll never ever take this for granted.
How's the training going for the big fight in April?
My training's going amazing. Honestly, it's going genuine. It's going phenomenal. At this moment in time, we've got 8 weeks till the fight, and you said to me about you mentioned about losing my last fight, but and how I dealt with that. But after that fight in the changing room, I was all battered, bruised, stitched up. I took a picture of myself, and I took a picture of myself in that changing room. And honestly, every second, third day, I look at that photo and I ask myself, do I want to be in that position again? And when I go to the gym, I've got more motivation than I've ever had, more desire ever, and I'm going to the gym to increase my skill set, and this next fight will be an example of all the improvements I'm making. Tight, but you're not in the right stance, are you? Yeah, so keep your hands nice and tight. So we're going to throw a knee to start off with, right? So see your front foot, step forward, fold the leg over, keep your heel close to your... Like, exactly, but see your foot, don't let that dangle, okay? Here, fold, okay, ready? There we go, that's a great shot again. Good, good. Yeah, go. Good, other knee. Good.
So, getting closer to the fight, can you tell us a typical day in the life of Reece McEwan, like training and food-wise?
So a typical day in me, let's go with today. So today's Thursday. I woke up this morning at 7 in the morning. I typically wake up at 7 every morning. And I drove up to the grip house. I'd done an hour of wrestling, half an hour, 40 minutes of bag work, shadow boxing. And then I cleaned the gym. I helped clean the mats after training. Then I drove back home. I was in my house for about an hour. Now came to sit down with you, have a chat with you, get some training in with you. Thanks very much for your time for that. After this, I'll teach kids class at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I'll go on and do 2 more hours of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So my day typically, obviously that's an example of a Thursday, but typically I'll be spending 2-3 hours training between the grip house and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and resting and a wee bit of coaching.
So what sort of food do you eat?
What sort of food I eat? So I'm quite, I love cooking. Like, I love to cook, so, and I like eating the same thing all the time. But I realise that eating the same thing every time, you get bored of the same food and you end up hating food that you love. Yeah. So typically just now, I always have a breakfast, lunch, dinner and 3 snacks. Right. I'm training so much I need to eat. Typically, I eat quite a lot to fuel my training sessions. So breakfast, typically what I like to go for is, I call it a Weetabix cheesecake dessert, which you can find on Instagram, and have a layer of Weetabix. Then you have a layer of like yogurt mixed with protein powder, and on top of that I have peanut butter, sometimes a wee bit of honey, and then I have a banana on the side of that. For lunch, I like to go for some form of sandwich, toasty, and then for dinner, again, I like to mix that up, like maybe a pasta dish, or a curry, or a homemade burger, etc. And then for snacks, I love rice cakes, crumpets, Nutella, yogurts and berries, and now we're getting me hungry, so I'm going to stop talking about the food. I know. And then on a Saturday night, I like to go out for maybe an Italian, or something like that. The
Weetabix thing sounds nice for a lot of people, but not for me. I don't like any of this stuff.
What do you like? What would you like to have for breakfast?
Usually pancakes or waffles or that.
Pancakes is a solid choice. That's another snack I like, but there's a lot of effort that needs to go into it. You need to try and make it as healthy as possible.
On the actual day of the fight, do you have any rituals or things you must do?
I used to believe in rituals. I used to always wear the same boxers and the same shorts underneath my fight shorts. And then the boxers got a hole in them. I kept wearing them, and then I realised one day that how I performed that night has got nothing to do with what I'm wearing. I used to wear the same clothes to fight days. So I tried to come away from, when I developed a few wins, I tried to come away from those rituals. But for me, like, the biggest thing for me on fight day is trying to separate myself from the outside world. And what I mean by that is, see, on that day, on my fight day, I just can constantly remind myself, I've only got one job today. In a way, it's the easiest day of my life, because my job is to put all my training, all my skills on display for the 15 minutes or the 25 minutes that I'm competing for. So I just constantly remind myself, everything you do today has to lead to tonight, and then you can go and celebrate.
For me, I've got a ritual because I play football, obviously. I wake up in the mornings and I go in for a shower. It was originally to wake me up, but now it's become part of my ritual.
Yeah.
It's brought me good luck because I think ever since I've been doing it this season, I've been playing pretty well.
No, well, there you go, and that's a perfect example to, like, you've made your ritual, you've made a ritual, you've created your own luck, and you, the message that I'm trying to say is, like, luck is, you're in control of your own luck, so whatever you need to do to lead to a strong performance, you continue doing that. So I need to make sure on fight days that I grab a shower and I think about what's good for performance.
Do you listen to any music going to your fights?
What, sorry?
Do you listen to any music going to your fights?
I listen to any music, so yeah, I listen to a mix of it. Sometimes I like listening to music that are that's quite upbeat and...
Like Eye of the Tiger?
Like Eye of the Tiger. I like listening to music that I can sing along to. I don't know what it is. I don't know, funny enough, I don't know the lyrics to many songs, but I know the lyrics to a lot of Oasis and Jerry Cinnamon, or just songs that are upbeat and reminds me of happy times. And I know maybe a lot of people listen to GVX and stuff, but I feel like that gets my heart going a wee bit too fast. I just want to be in control of my emotions, and I just like upbeat songs in the day of a fight, and especially the song that I'm going to come out to in terms of my entrance, just to familiarise myself with what I'm about to do.
Would you say the UFC is a dream for all MMA fighters?
Absolutely. The UFC is the biggest promotion in the world in MMA. Everybody wants to be a UFC fighter. There are more promotions out there, absolutely. Right now there's a lot of options for fighters to take, but I think the UFC is the pinnacle of the sport, and if you're in the UFC, you've earned the right to say you're one of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah. Reese, when are you going to get into the UFC? Because I want to play you on a game.
So getting the game is another challenge when you're in the UFC. You're like, right, I need to win X amount of fights to get in the game, but hopefully get in the UFC this year. That's my plan.
You'd be my main character easily.
I appreciate that. I would need to get the game. If I'm in the game, I need to get it. But that would be a goal. So if I do get in the UFC game, we'll go back to this interview and we'll say that you predicted it. Left elbow, good. Do you want to do a jump knee? That's quite cool.
Cool.
So throw the knee up and down. This time, basically jump, but at the same time.
Right, cool.
Yeah, that's it. Again, one more. Good. Two more. Good. Last one. Keep your hands up nice and tight, right? Good. Right.
So Reese, what sort of stuff are involved in MMA? Like what sort of sports?
So in MMA, you have your striking side of things. You've got your grappling side of things. Striking side of things could be examples of striking. The striking element would be Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, karate. The grappling element, you'd have your wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, judo, sambo, any form of combat sports that you can think of. MMA does it all, and mixed martial arts is about blending the sports together, and that's all the martial arts involved in MMA.
So how do you actually win a fight in MMA?
You can win a fight in MMA through a judge's decision, or submission, or by knocking your partner out. I keep saying partner. I don't know why I'm saying partner. Knocking your opponent out.
Aye. Don't worry about it, Reese.
That's okay. So one way you can knock your partner out. I said partner again.
That's fine.
One way you can knock your opponent out is by kicking them in the head. So you're going to try and kick me in the head. All right?
No chance.
So we'll start off with a body kick.
Yep.
Good. We'll do that one more time. I'm going to put a single pad up. You're going to lift it a wee bit higher. On you go. Good. Again. Good. One more time. Good. So you knock them out with a head kick, or a knee to the head, or a jump knee. Good. An elbow. Good. Back to the head kick. Good. One more time.
Reese, who did you look up to in your early years of MMA?
I would say the first person that ever got me into combat sports in boxing and MMA would have been Muhammad Ali. There was a point in my life where I could have rounded off everything in his Wikipedia, and every video that had Muhammad Ali's name on it on YouTube, honestly, pages and pages. I was so obsessed with them that I watched them all, to the point where one video that I used to always watch got taken off, and I was raging that I couldn't find it again. And the reason why Muhammad Ali was, let's say, my first, let's say, influence was because despite his boxing record, obviously he's known as the greatest of all time, or at the time he was. I feel like he stood up for what he believed in, and he was a huge inspiration to the people, and I always said, like, I think that's so inspiring that he stood up for what he believed in at the time. Was a controversial decision, and he didn't care, he stood up for what he believed in. So he was he's the first person that stands out because he was the first, and obviously the next person that would stand out, I would say, like, it would be Conor McGregor, because when I was up and coming, he was the fighter that put MMA, that made MMA mainstream.
Yeah.
He said what he was going to do, and he went out and done there. He had a ridiculous bulletproof mindset, and I just felt that no matter what he said, if he said grass was blue, you'd look down and doubt it, because everything that he said that came out of his mouth, you thought, this is the truth, this is what's going to happen, and he backed it up with an outstanding skill set. And again, his mindset is absolutely incredible.
When we were talking about Muhammad Ali, do you have a favourite fight of his?
A favourite fight, obviously at the time I wasn't alive, but in hindsight, like,
well,
I think when I watch it back, like, I think what stands out for me is, like, when you just completely organically, the two things, obviously, I know these are so obvious for a lot of people, but when he fought George Foreman and he done the rope-a-dope, he basically just took a battering, and then I think it was round 8 or whatever round it was, he finished him. And then the Joe Fraser fight, even when the third one, or yeah, it would have been the second one. Anyone that he fought, he came back, he lost the first one, and I think this was the Thriller in Manila, where what always impressed me from the beginning was the fact that he lost, because I used to look at Muhammad Ali's record and go, how can he be the greatest? He's lost 5 times. But that was just an uneducated uneducated opinion on that, and the Joe Fraser fight was so impressive for me because he bounced back off a loss.
So, can you show us a couple of submission holds, because we both know that you're really good at them?
Yes, of course I can show you. What submission would you like to learn?
It's up to you.
So, if we're learning submissions, I can get rid of these pads.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm sick of getting whacked off them. Boom. Alright, so one submission, the last submission that I think I had in competition would have been the guillotine. Yep. So the guillotine would be where you have someone's head on the outside of your hip. Okay, you grab their neck and then you squeeze. So
kind of like a chokehold, basically?
It's exactly what a chokehold is.
Right.
So what we'll do is, a good way to attack the guillotine is the person tries to take you down. Okay, so I'm going to try and take you down. Okay, you're going to try and take me down. I'm going to show you very gently, and then you can do it on me. So when you try to take me down, what I want you to do is bring yourself nice and close, okay, and pop your head next to this hip. So see this ear of yours? Put that there, okay? So drop down nice and low, okay? Try to grab my 2 legs. There we go. So you see how my hand's around your neck?
Yeah.
Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to grab my neck, make a fist, right? So you're going to grab my neck with the fist, okay?
Yeah.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze, put your hip, did you see the difference in my voice already?
Yeah.
Okay, put your hip in and see your elbow, this elbow, it's going to go right over my back while you keep control of your own hand. So squeeze your hand, do your hands together? No. Yeah, put your hand there and put your elbow and then squeeze, and when I tap you, let go. Okay, so take a fist. Put your hand over the top, fingers together, there we go, and you're going to make a wee, this. You're going to squeeze, pinch, elbow top, and then squeeze. Count to 10 when you squeeze. In fact, try to count to 20 and we'll see how many seconds I can last.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to try and take you down. You caught me in a choke, you bring the elbow over, and then you need to try and squeeze this to 10, 1. There we go. Right?
I dropped the mic.
Mic drop.
There you go, Reese.
Is that mine? I've been submitted and I've been sacked.
I know you work very closely with Manon Inviclyde. Can you tell us what it is and why you got involved?
So Man on Inverclyde are a suicide prevention charity that are based in Inverclyde. I got involved with Man on Inverclyde, well, we started working together after my Cage Warriors debut in April 2022. The owner, Chris Paul, got in touch with me asking if I would come on board and be a young person's ambassador for the charity. The idea behind, the reason and the purpose of my role with Man on Inverclyde is to break the stigma of that men are too strong or too tough.
They can't show emotions.
They can't show emotions, and they can't talk about their feelings when they're down for whatever reason. We used Tyson Fury as an example when we first met. That Tyson Fury was very public in his struggles with mental health and the emotions that he was going through when he won the World Heavyweight Championship of the world, and it took the world by storm. Because this was meant to be the baddest man on the planet, how can he be struggling on the highest of high, the ultimate high in his life, a lifelong dream, yet he was in the most depressive state that he could ever be. And prior to me coming on board with Man On, I was very public, not Tyson Fury public, but when I was asked about how I was dealing with my loss in November 2021, I was asked if I wanted to do an interview, and I said, yeah, I do. And I remember saying in the interview that I've never cried so much in my life off this loss. And anyone who asked me how I was doing, I was honest with them.
Aye.
And I said that I'm so emotional, I'm so upset, but the reason why I'm telling you this is because, and the message that I put across when I do any work for Man on Inverclyde is this message, that the reason why I was so honest with my feelings, I remember my fiance, my girlfriend at the time, she said, why do you keep telling people that? And she's like, just like, try and control yourself, like you don't feel that you need to tell people how you're feeling, like it's okay, you can speak to me. I was like, I'm telling people how I feel because I'm really low right now, like in terms of my professional career, and I'm telling everyone how I feel, how I truthfully feel. The people say, how you feel, and I'm like, I don't know if my eyes can take any more crying, like genuinely, I said, because I'm going to build myself back up, and see when I build myself back up, all these people, when they ask me how I'm feeling, I'm going to be like, good, great. And I always tell that story, and then, and also I felt that message was very important because the people who would ask me how I was feeling, I was very honest and upfront about my feelings. So when I asked them in the future and I would say, how are you doing? I could say to them, remember that time I was very truthful and honest with you? So I want that back because I'm here for you like you were there for me. So we try and put that message across in schools and any people that any young person that I work with, and to say that it's okay not to be okay.
Chris actually reached out to me and my dad
about
a video for Man on Inverclyde. I think it's something to do with football, but we're going for a meeting with him soon, and hopefully I'll talk to him about you.
No, that's an amazing thing. And Man on Inverclyde are a fantastic charity who make a huge impact in everything that they do. So I'm very, very happy to be in touch with you.
Speaking to some people, I heard the Scottish MMA is in a very good place right now. What more could be done in Scotland to create more champions?
Scottish MMA is huge right now. We have fighters in Cage Warriors, the UFC, PFL, many promotions. There's a variety of gyms that are producing top level fighters. No comment. No, but and then, like for instance, this Saturday night you've got Chris Duncan, who's competing in UFC Mexico. So that's a huge thing for a Scottish MMA fighter, a guy who was born in Stirling, worked his way through the amateur ranks, and then now he's in the world's leading organisation. But Scottish MMA is in a great place right now. There's a lot of MMA promotions. Even when I was coming through, you maybe have 2 main MMA promotions. Now you've got 5, 6. So in theory, if you use that kind of calculations, it's tripled, it's quadrupled in terms of like the promotions that's been that's given opportunities to fighters. The gyms are growing and growing, and it is a very new sport. But Scottish MMA is in a great place right now. But I would still say it's in its infancy.
What advice could you give to young people wanting to try MMA?
Any young person wanting to try MMA is don't have let's say, don't have any fixed thoughts of what you think is going to happen in that class, right? I would say that the biggest prevention to people going to any martial arts gym is that they think they're going to turn up, they're going to get a pair of UFC gloves on, and they're going to go toe to toe with the next person in the gym. Don't have any don't be apprehensive about joining because of that. My biggest piece of advice is try MMA at your local gym, go for a couple of nights, and just tick it off your bucket list. If you like it, brilliant. If you don't like it, you can say you never tried it.
Well, Reese, unfortunately, that takes us to the end of our interview. I'd just like to thank you for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule to come and talk to us today, and good luck for fighting April.
No, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day as well. And yeah, I really appreciate your questions. They were brilliant.
So, everybody at home, could you please like, subscribe and share to get the views up, hopefully. Thanks everyone for watching. So, let's stop wasting time and get talking.